So a resilient person is a helpful person. A helpful person is a brilliant person. And when you put brilliance and resilience together, you don't chase money. Money chases you. You don't chase opportunities. You don't chase promotions because the work that you do shows up because you've done the inside work first and it manifests externally. So the what do you want for you is to blow the dust off of your soul and say, what do I really, really, really want? Because here's the deal. What you want wants you. You would never have a desire for a better future unless you reach the place when you answer the question. So, in other words, being frustrated and flustered is a gift because that's the tripwire to unlock the ocean of your soul, to invite you into a deeper conversation with yourself to say it's time.
Greetings and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. I am your host, Coach Charlene, and oh my goodness, I am so excited today to have the one and only Simon T. Bailey with me again. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Coach. So good to be with you.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I'm gonna read your bio, your updated bio, and then we're gonna just jump into this conversation because I cannot wait for you to tell us about this beautiful book that you have just released. So Simon T. Bailey is the world's leading expert in brilliance. He has ascended to extraordinary heights, recognized among Success Magazine's top 25, alongside Brené Brown, Tony Robbins, and Oprah Winfrey, as well as leadersHum top 200 power list in 2023 and Gotham Artists top keynote speakers in 2024. With the Disney Institute as his launchpad, he's left an indelible mark on 2,400 plus organizations in 54 countries, such as American Express, Deloitte, Marriott, Visa, Stanford Health Care, and Taco Bell. Through books, speeches, and coaching, Simon captivates the lives of countless individuals around the globe, inspiring them to lead better, stay curious, and embrace the growth mindset. Prepare to be empowered and reach new heights as he propels you and us toward a brilliant future. Your journey to brilliance starts right now. So, wow, what a mouthful. So, personally, I have to say this: the last time that you were on the show, I received so many calls and messages about your message. Your message really touched deep within a lot of people's soul, and they were like, oh my god, I just have to hear more. And I send them to your website, but I'm so in my life absolutely changed within those 30 minutes, and so I'm totally forever grateful for that. So thank you for your service to humanity.
Thank you. So good to be with you again.
Yeah, so okay, Simon, this book that you have here. So audience, we're going to talk about this beautiful book right here, Resilience at Work. And oh my God, I literally read it in 24 hours. I started the book, Simon, and then I tried to go to sleep. And then a little angel woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I finished it the next day. But it was so loaded with so many nuggets. So, let's start off with telling us what was your inspiration for writing the book?
My inspiration is very simple. After working with many organizations and interviewing individuals all over the world, what I discovered is that individuals who thrive in any economy find a way to tap into their resilience, that thing that causes them to bounce back better. And
Mm.
when they bounce back better, they tap into their brilliance, which is that innate intelligence, gifting, talent, and ability that's in them. and they become unstoppable. So, a resilient person is a helpful person. A helpful person is a brilliant person. And when you put brilliance and resilience together, you don't chase money, money chases you. You don't
Mm.
chase opportunities, you don't chase promotions because the work that you do shows up because you've done the inside work first and it manifests externally.
Wow, powerful. That's so powerful. I like what you said. There was a passage in here. I think I'm going to read it because it just really speaks to it. It says, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's my favorite yet, but there's so many of them. But it says, you can't stop the waves from coming, but you can learn to surf. This book is meant to help you discover the wisdom that is lying dormant in the rolling ocean of your own soul and allow that wisdom to lead you to brilliant resilience. I thought that was so profound because we do have treasure and sometimes we don't know that we have that treasure. So as I was reading the book, it like literally I had like a physical reaction. I mean, I could like feel in my soul you
Mm.
speaking life into my heart, into those places that may have been a little bit dormant, so to speak. And so it was so profound. And then with the colors and I mean, it was just absolutely brilliant. The whole book was brilliant. And so let me ask you another question. What about why did you use the theme with skydiving? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, a part of us using the theme of surfing and water and skydiving and everything was to understand that throughout the world, water is everything. And all of us, when we learn how to surf the wave of change and uncertainty, we recognize that we're going to be knocked off the surfboard of life. But it's the ability to pop back up and ride and catch the next wave. So I wanted to use something that was very common, very familiar, that was relatable. Even there, I've never been surfing, so let me just put that out there. But when I was at a beach with my children and I asked the surfers, what is the key to surfing? They said it's the ability to pop back up. And I said,
Mm,
that is universally relatable to anybody.
yes. Absolutely. But I like how you say, Simon, you say you bounce back, but you bounce back better.
Yes.
I like that because a lot of people can bounce back and they're bitter because of the trauma that they've experienced. So this was really so empowering to hear that. I noticed that so there's four characters in the book, and I want you to tell us a little bit about the characters. Can you tell us a little bit about each one of them?
So the four characters: hurry, worry, ready, and steady, plus one, that being curious. So the hurry personality is always in a hurry, moving on to the next thing. The worry personality is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Oh my goodness, am I going to be laid off? Is my business going to thrive? Do I even want to get out of bed to start the day because I'm so worried about what's going on? The steady personality, calmness is their superpower. So they have the ability to show up in any workplace environment, and it's their presence that is so powerful and meaningful before they even open their mouth. They're steady. And then the ready personality has been to hell and back and has decided, you know what? This is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a do over. How do I stand ready, flat footed, and lean into the future for who I will become in the process? So, ready and steady begin to coach hurry and worry into a thriving future. And a part of coaching into a thriving future is to understand the person behind the story.
Hmm. Okay, so that was really powerful. I do have a question though, because you've been all over the world. So these characters here, who do you see mostly when you're, dealing with different organizations and just people in general? Because when I read the book, I start thinking about and putting labels on a lot of the people that I talk to. And I, quite frankly, there's a lot of people that reach out to me that are in busy. That's their character. I love how you have the assessment so you can locate where you are. But in your experience, is there anyone that's more than another?
The one that concerns me the most that I'm seeing that stands out is worry. What's driving worry? Well, artificial intelligence. Is my job going to be wiped out? Will I be replaced? Do I have the skills to stay relevant for where the organization is going? The other reason why I think you see worry is student loan debt. So you have individuals that went to school, got a 4 year degree, and can't find a job, or they are underemployed. And so they're worried about as the organization transforms, right size, whatever they're doing, how do I continue to stay relevant for where the company is going? And then the other part of worry is there is a lot of emotional trauma and workplace trauma that has
Mm.
been suppressed that is now coming to the surface. And businesses and organizations have not trained leaders to begin to coach with people dealing with emotional trauma. In our research, we found that there is a significant percentage of people who are remote workers who feel that they are no longer cared for because they're out of sight, out of mind. That causes worry as they think about their future.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And, I was thinking also about, for instance, some of the busy traits. And I mean, I'm in the nursing field. And
Mhm.
so there's so much more to do with so many limited resources. And so you find yourself going from thing to thing. And I mean, just really not taking a breath. And so, and I was stuck in that, quite honestly. I'm just being very transparent like a few years ago. And that's where I had to awaken and say, hey, wait a minute, get off of this rat race. This is really a rat race right now. I have to pause and do more meaningful, intentional things that I am doing at work. So I have a question for you about organizations in general. You said that that's one of the things that we have a gap in organizations. And so, what would your recommendation be for organizations um, to help promote this brilliance, resilient brilliance?
So, what I'm seeing in organizations, coach, that are helping their culture thrive, number one is they are ensuring that self care, well being is at the top priority list of all teams, all leaders every day, ensuring that people take care of themselves and they provide the mechanisms for people to practice self care. The second thing is empathy is on the rise as
Mm.
leaders and managers and teams are understanding how do we become more empathetic because everyone is dealing with something. So, how do we slow down to the speed of the moment and just say, how are you doing today? And being intentional and asking that question. And I think the other thing that I'm seeing is that normally organizations are looking at key performance indicator metrics. Are we meeting the census? All of those, the criteria that drives a business and an organization forward. But instead of letting the analytics say this is what it is, they're putting the humanness coming alongside to understand the story behind the data. And how do we put what I would call seeing human beings, not just human doings, through the lens of caring for people and them really believing and knowing that they are cared for.
Yeah, that's very powerful, and I mean, wow, would love to see that happen more. So that's amazing. I wanted to kind of get back a little bit to a few of the characters in particular, but first of all, I noticed that the self coaching was
Yeah.
really important here, and so I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about self coaching and really, honestly, why we don't do it more as humanity.
So, in the book, part of the reason why I put the assessment questions for hurry and worry is you know your data better than anyone else. One of my mentors said to me, Tom Winiger, a number of years ago, he said, you come to me asking for the answer about you. I can't tell you about you. You
Mm.
know you better than yourself. So you come to me to ask me questions only to discover you. So the assessment questions, coach, is to really help you understand you can't know yourself by yourself. And through the process of rating yourself 1 to 10 in each of those questions is to identify how you are doing, what's your areas of opportunity, and what is it that you can do for yourself to move into the future.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. And then as you coach yourself, does that build your resilience? How does that connect in?
Yeah, great question. So when I take a moment, so let's just say at the beginning of the day, if I carve out 15 minutes a day and I know I need to work on, sometimes I'm stressed out or anxiety, how do I first of all start with just breathing? So when I go through the exercise and if I'm a worried personality, I know that, you know what, I need to take a time and just take a deep breath. But then throughout the day, I need to practice gratitude and think about what is working so far. That builds your resilience. Another thing to think about is how do I give feedback to others when they're doing something right instead of what they're doing wrong? And so the question becomes, how does that build your resilience? Well, sometimes you have to give away what you want first. So the research, according to Emory University, when you help someone else, the reward centers in our brain begin to light up, almost as if we have been on the receiving end of the person we just helped. And it's called the helper's high. So, in other words, on my resilience journey, it's not just about me, it's about we. And how do I be intentional about serving and caring for others every single day?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I was thinking about what I really loved in there also. You talked a lot about how we're responsible for our destiny. And so it emphasizes the importance of taking ownership of our destiny. Why is cultivating resilience so important in this process?
It's so important because if you think back, at some point, everyone may have heard in their journey go to school and get a degree. And the reality is, you have some that went and got a degree and they got a job, but that job doesn't fulfill them. And if they were smart enough, they were able to take the job and turn that into a career. But for those who may be stuck, they have found a way to get unstuck. It's because they found a resilient way to say, okay, this has worked to a point. This is no longer working. I'm ready to take the next step. Or I'm working in a career. What other skills, traits, insights can I add to continue to grow so that I'm taking a job, making it a career, but eventually moving towards a calling. And when you
Mm.
move towards that calling in your resilient journey, you begin to look back at how far you have come. What did you learn? What were the areas of opportunity? Who were the great leaders that you worked for? What did you take for them? What were the teams that you worked on? What were the characteristics that made that team embrace change? Because when you experience change, you were learning how to be resilient and to bounce back better in that moment. And you pull that thread all the way through to land into your calling. So, in other words, resilience allows you to move towards your brilliance in your calling because you never gave up on you.
Wow. So that's such a mic drop, Simon. That's really, I mean, when you said it, it dropped in my spirit. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I had to figure that out. And that has been such a game changer, even as I transition to a new season. It
Mm,
has been a game changer because, and I feel the fortitude, the resilience that I've obtained over the years, and it's so profound because now there's a freedom within that I didn't have before, and I know I'm attributing that to building my resilience. So in the book, it talks about resilient individuals are described as waking up every day with a burning desire to make a difference. How can individuals cultivate this sense of purpose in their professional lives?
I think number one, start with what difference did you make the day before?
Mm.
So, when you made a difference, did you help someone? What was that like? What did you learn? What did you discover? And then, as you approach a brand new day, what difference can you make today? How will you add value? How will you go beyond what you're paid to do. Because here's the reality: a paycheck is given to people who show up, but opportunities are given to individuals who think and work beyond what they're paid to do. So, based on where you are, think and work beyond what you're paid to do. That's where the breakthrough comes. And then the third thing, what is it that you can do to go perhaps to your leader, to your team members, and say, how can I help you? Is there something I can take off your plate? Is there a cause or an issue or a project that I can advance or use my contact, my experience, my relationships throughout the organization to move something forward? When you begin to raise your hand and begin to say, how can we get something done? Instead of it can't be done, not only are you unlocking your fortitude, but you are building your resilience and you are discovering the puzzle pieces of your life. Now, let me just drop a pin in this just for a moment. When you think about your professional career, however many years you've been working, think of it as a puzzle of scattered pieces. And if you've ever put a puzzle together, you know you have that one piece of the puzzle that doesn't fit. But all of a sudden, you turn the box over and you begin to see that missing piece, and the big picture comes together. Here's the reality for everyone listening to us right now: when you find your brilliance and you tap into your resilience, you discover that you are the missing piece of the puzzle. You, your talent, your gift, your ability is the missing piece of the puzzle. So the reason that piece of the puzzle of your career didn't make sense before until now is because you're on a journey to a destination that's unlocking your destiny. So it wasn't supposed to make sense. You were supposed to take 4 steps forward and 5 steps back, 3 steps to the side, 2 steps to the other side, and it didn't make sense. But now you're in a place where you're going to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together and you'll see the big picture from the beginning to the end.
Wow, powerful. Absolutely. I love that. Hey, that reminds me, in the book, you talked about something that I think is so difficult to do. And it was when they were gathered together and they did the friend to friend. And the
Yes.
questions that they asked, because I had my coach ask me before, Charlene, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I want, but I really love that concept of what you did there in the book, because here you have these two, I say, broken Humpty Dumptys, kind of, right? And they're coming together and they're gleaning wisdom from Steady and Ready. And it was just so powerful because you can't like do this journey alone. And so that's what I really got out of out of that gathering together. I was like, wow, how important is your circle when you're trying to seek or move towards your destiny? So, with that friend to friend, what I mean, do you think that's true? Like, I struggled with that question quite a bit. I mean, how do people do with that question?
Yeah, great question. So, in the circle of resilience, the reason you want to ask questions is to create a safe place. And when you ask the question, what do you want for you? Which is the first question of the friend to friend process. A part of the reason why people struggle is because they are focused on everything else. They take care of everyone else. They're making sure that everyone has what they need. And because they're now hardwired to be externally focused, to now say be internally focused, it almost feels foreign. It's like, what do I want for me? Why should I worry about me when everyone else is happy? So they've put their happiness on layaway while they are helping everyone else. And all of a sudden, they get to a certain place in their life and they say, where did the time go? Because they've been so focused on each other. So the what do you want for you is to blow the dust off of your soul and say, what do I really, really, really want? Because here's the deal: what you want wants you.
Mm.
You would never have a desire for a better future unless you reach the place when you answer the question. So, in other words, being frustrated and flustered is a gift, because that's the tripwire to unlock the ocean of your soul, to invite you into a deeper conversation with yourself to say it's time.
Wow, that's so so rich. Okay, so let's see here. You know what I'm gonna do, Simon? I would love for you to just let us know how you can help organizations. Just whatever you feel late on your heart right now for the last few minutes. I would love for you to just go ahead and release some more brilliance on the audience.
For those that are working in organizations, one of the things that I encourage you to consider is inviting people to, number one, understand what is right about them. If you can ensure that in recognizing individuals for the contribution that they're making, based on the way they want to receive it, I think it's critically important. People want to know, and they don't want to wait to the mid-year review or end of the year review. They want to know how they are doing. How do they stack up in the organization? I think the second thing, being intentional to create learning paths for individuals to grow in their career. So Eric Hoffer, a philosopher, says, in times of change, the learners will inherit the earth, while the unlearned will find themselves beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists. So creating that learning path is to say, here are critical skills that you need to acquire on your own. And I think the third thing is creating a culture that is positive. One of the pieces of research that I'm studying right now by Jane Dutton really speaks to when individuals are on this journey to resilience, they have to have a high quality contact. And that high quality contact or high quality connection allows them to thrive. As you know, loneliness is the new epidemic in the world. And there are people that are working, but they're lonely. So, how do you ensure that individuals have a high quality connection at work, a buddy system, someone that is checking in with them beyond the leader that they report to, saying, you know what, we are concerned about you as a human being, and we just want to make sure that you are thriving at work.
That's really wonderful. What about for individuals in particular?
I think for individuals, go through the friend to friend process, begin to answer those three questions. Take the assessment that hurry and worry go through to really say, here's where I'm at. Something practical you can do right now is carve out 15 minutes at the very beginning of the day or at the end of the day and take that 15 minutes, chunk it down into three 5 minute segments. First 5 minutes, meditate. Second 5 minutes, read or listen to something that inspires you. Third 5 minutes, get up and stretch. Take a walk in nature. Experience and get a little vitamin D. Because what you have to begin to realize when you are concerned about the future, you become very intentional in the present. So take care of yourself so that you can show up fully resilient, fully ready to set the world on fire.
Wow, wonderful. It is so amazing to talk to you again. I tell you guys, this book is a game changer. I really, really encourage you to get it. I am on my third time reading it through actually, and I just think it like especially right now in this season for me is so perfect. So I definitely encourage you to get it because what I noticed in there also, Simon, was the wisdom that
Mm-hmm.
was there because you talked about that you were studying in the book of Proverbs, the book of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, literally, after I finished reading that, I was more spiritually strong because there were keys, there were nuggets in there, there were endowment, there were things that can help my spiritual self to grow as well. And that was powerful, that was profound for me because it fed me in so many different ways. I had like a spirit, soul, and body experience.
That's good. That's so good.
And it was so rich. So was that intentional to feed the spirit as well?
Yes, absolutely. Years ago, I had a chance to share the stage with the late great Dr. Stephen Covey. And he said something I'd never heard before in his opening remarks. He said, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spirit beings having a human experience. And when he said it, I was like, oh my goodness, everybody is a spirit being having a human experience. So I wanted to write the book from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, job well done. So, how can people get in touch with you if they want to get you for their organization or, and then any last parting words?
Certainly, they can go to simontbailey.com. T for terrific, dry joke right there. simontbailey.com. And the one challenge that I would give everyone listening to us today, what can you do to go and hug someone else with your words? Can you send them a text? Can you create a video? Can you send an email where you hug them with your words because your words carry energy? And when people feel hugged by your words, they discover that encouragement is oxygen for the soul. So, how can we encourage others on this journey called resilience?
Oh, that is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Simon T. Bailey, for being on the show again. I really am so honored, and I know again people will be blessed. I was truly blessed again, and I'm going to keep on watching you and seeing what you're doing. I need to get connected a little bit more so I can see you all the time and see what you're doing. You're changing the world and the positivity and the power and the I mean, just amazing to be a trailblazer the way that you are. So, thank you for everything that you're doing for humanity, for organizations. We need more like you. And so just gratitude to you and many blessings into your life.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of When the Moment Chooses You. I'm your host, Coach Charlene, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Each journey we've shared today is a reminder that when the moment chooses you, the possibilities are endless.